Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you so much for sparing the time. And this is a PhD chamber from at the national level. We are here connected to thousands of people, and it is there on the YouTube channels also. And by all your experiences and expertise, we would like to aware our so many citizens for future the problems what they are facing right now, and get the benefits. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Saluja. Indeed, a very heartfelt welcome, which I could actually hear. And of course, setting the tone for today's webinar, and also talking about, how all the systems, including the modern medicine, when we talk about it, is equally important when it comes to critical care and making sure that we cover the entire 360-degree gambit. Thank you very much. Please accept my apologies because I could not see the name of Dr. Akhilesh Kumar on his panelist link. So I have requested my colleague Anirudh to actually have his name corrected. So a warm welcome to Dr. Akhilesh Kumar, Dean of the SAM Global University. Very nice to see you, Dr. Akhilesh, virtually. Though we've been talking on phone, I didn't want to make any mistakes in the name. So Anirudh, please do get his name changed on the screen name. And may I now request you to kindly give an introduction for Dr. Anand Balayogi Bhavanani ji. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vivek, sir. Dr. Anand Balayogi Bhavanani, sir. आज इस आभासी व्यासपीठ पर हमारे साथ सर जुड़े हैं। आप अंतरराष्ट्रीय स्तर पर एक लब्ध प्रतिष्ठित योगाचार्य हैं। आपने एमबीबीएस की डिग्री हासिल करने के साथ अल्टरनेटिव मेडिसिन में एमडी तथा योग में डीएससी की उपाधि और इसके साथ ही तमाम डिप्लोमा और फेलोशिप अर्जित किया है। आप वर्तमान में सेंटर फॉर योगा थेरेपी एजुकेशन एंड रिसर्च में डायरेक्टर के पद पर तथा आनंद आश्रम पांडिचेरी के इंटरनेशनल सेंटर फॉर योगा एजुकेशन एंड रिसर्च में चेयरमैन के पद पर सुशोभित हैं। आप योग की एक समृद्ध पारिवारिक पृष्ठभूमि से आते हैं। आपके पिता योग महर्षि डॉक्टर स्वामी गीतानंद गिरी गुरु महाराज तथा माता योगचारिणी कलाई मामाजी श्रीमती मीनाक्षी देवी भावनानी। Sir has authored more than 19 DVDs and more than 26 books. Sir has published more than 300 papers, compilations, and abstracts. Sir literary works have more than 2,800 citations with an H index of 26 and an I index of 56. Interestingly, Sir is also classical Indian vocalist, music composer and choreographer of Indian classical dance. He is an honorary advisor to International Association of Yoga Therapies, Australasian Association of Yoga Therapies, and World Yoga Foundation. Sir is currently member of number of expert committees of the Ministry of Ayush, including its National Board for Promotion of Yoga and Naturopathy, Scientific Advisory Committee, and Standing Finance Committee of CCRYM. Technical Committee of the Yoga Certification Board, expert committees for the celebration of International Yoga Day and National Yoga and Diabetes Program. मैं आदरणीय डॉक्टर आनंद बालयोगी भावनानी सर को आमंत्रित करता हूं उनके बहुमूल्य वक्तव्य के लिए। डॉक्टर बालयोगी सर, प्लीज।
Thank you so much for that elaborate description. Ultimately, we are all blessed to be human beings. It is said the highest blessing is to be born human. And I think the highest responsibility is to manifest that humanity in our life. So be human rather than do human. I would like to express my gratitude to each and every one of you for giving me this opportunity to be with you. A wonderful opportunity that is manifesting thanks to the PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry, a name that is very familiar for so many of us. And to know that since 2014, you have an Ayush unit is something that helps my heart to beat in a more rhythmic, harmonious, healthy manner. We call it sinus arrhythmia, when your heart beats very healthily. I would like to thank Madam Preeti Saluja for this invitation and for putting this together with the SAM Global University. I was with you last year and have fond memories of the beautiful event you organized. My dear Dr. Akhilesh Kumar, who has kept on making sure that I knew what is going on and made sure that even 2 minutes before the program that I would join. And that is the type of perseverance. That is a sign of someone dedicated to the upliftment of the institution and to make sure it reaches the highest ranking possible. My dear Vivek ji, every word you speak is so inspiring. I was thinking the way you inspire people, the way you motivate people, such a beautiful opportunity to be here and meet all of you. My dear Dr. Dwivedi ji, Anirudh Dubey ji, Ram Manohar ji, Dr. Seema ji, and everyone who's part of this. My first and foremost statement is health and happiness are our birthright. Health and happiness are our birthright. We have the responsibility to work towards liberation. So many times we think that the goal of life is to find health and happiness. No, the goal of life is moksha. The goal of life is liberation. And we have the birthright of health and happiness, but we have forgotten it. Just like we have forgotten the wonderful treasures, the platinum level treasures of our culture and sold it for the plastic playthings of the modern world. We need to regain those treasures of our culture, of which one of the greatest treasures is my beloved yoga. My beloved yoga that I consider my divine mother. I begin invoking the great rishis of this culture who have bestowed these teachings upon us. Om Tat Param Paryaya Vidmahi Jnanalingeshwaraya Dhimahi Tanno Guru Prachodayate. Om Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarotam Pravaram Muninam Padanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Illness to wellness. What better time to think about it than right now? We have for too long focused on illness. As a medical doctor, I often lament the fact that our healthcare system is a disease care system and not a healthcare system. We are constantly looking at the pathogenesis. What is the pathology that we need to eradicate? What is the pathology we need to treat? We are looking at suffering, but we are not looking at health and wellness. We need to realize as long as we are caught in the me, I, we'll always have illness. And all of us human beings, as with other living beings, are driven by the desire to survive at any cost. In yoga, we call it Abhinivesha Klesha. The Abhinivesha Klesha drives our survival instinct, which is in the brainstem. The brainstem that keeps our respiration going. It keeps our heartbeat going. It keeps our digestive processes going so that we can survive. Yes, survival of the fittest is good for Darwin. But we don't just want to be surviving. We want to have a life. We want to be in living mode, not survival mode. So the survival mode is always like, Me, 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 me. How can I survive? How can I survive? What can I do to survive? And so always everything is a threat to us. Everything is a threat to our survival, not just COVID. Somebody stands up, we feel threatened. Somebody sits down, we feel threatened. Somebody opens the mouth, we feel threatened. Some people close the mouth, we feel threatened. Because the threat perception lies within us. The threat perception lies within us and is constantly supported by the desire to survive at any cost. Hence, each and every moment of our life starts to become stressful. And stress leads to disease. Because the whole stress response was made for survival, not for living. A tiger is in front of you. You need to be stressed to escape. But after the tiger has gone away, you should relax, rest and digest and recuperate. But nowadays, there are no real tigers. But somebody gets up in the morning, they look at the wife, they see a tiger. The wife gets up, sees her husband, sees a tiger. The person goes to office, they see the boss, they see a tiger. The boss sees the subordinate, they see a tiger. Student sees teacher, they see a tiger. Teacher sees student, they see a tiger. We are seeing tigers, 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 tigers everywhere. And what is happening? Constantly the perception of stress. Constantly the perception of stress is driving our adrenal glands. Adrenal glands are secreting all this adrenaline and we are burning ourselves out. This type of chronic stress, unnecessary chronic stress driven by the survival instinct. I have to survive at any cost. My family has to survive. My company has to survive. My institution has to survive. My thought has to survive. My genetics has to survive. We are driven by the survival that is driving the stress and breaking us down, moving us into disease. What does yoga say? Change from the I to the we. The I, which was like me, 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 and you should look very mean when you do this, me, 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 me. And you so mean. When we think of me, we become very mean. Okay, you look at people who think only me, they become mean. Like that. We have to change to prefrontal cortex, this part of our thinking. This is where we have what is called the buddhi. Buddhiman manushya we should be. Someone endowed with that buddhi. And the buddhi, which is the dhi, as we chant, dhiyo yona prachodayat. That dhi, that buddhi, that higher intellect that can understand, whole life is not about survival. It is not about survival, it is about living. It is not about becoming a human doing, but becoming a human being. Be human. Don't just do human. We have become a human doing, not a human being. To be, we have to be here. And yoga helps us shift from the I consciousness to the we consciousness. This is the part that can say, I can also survive and others can also survive too. I can be healthy and you can be healthy at the same time. I can be prosperous, you can be prosperous at the same time. We can coexist. And in that coexistence, we can have a symbiotic supportive system to support each and every one. When I start to think this way, I have altered my consciousness. Because the brainstem, which was driving everything, including your breathing, nobody in this webinar is currently thinking about the breathing at all. But now you will think about it because I started talking about it. Breathing is automatic. We don't even think about it. That is the survival mode. But in yoga, what do we teach? Pranayam. Pranayam mein kya hota? We move from survival mode to living mode. Survival mode to living mode. I, me to we. Illness to wellness. Me to we. Survival to living. And in that moment, when we start to say, I will choose how I want to breathe. And so we say, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, hold your breath. Breathe out, hold your breath. Suddenly what has happened? Your prefrontal cortex, your higher human brain is governing how you breathe rather than the brainstem, which is the old brain. Suddenly you have changed the way you breathe. When you change the way you breathe, you change the way you think. When you change the way you breathe, you change the way you emote. When you change the way you breathe, you change the way you perceive the whole world. Suddenly you understand the statement, Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu becomes a reality. This is the key. Because what has happened when the pandemic came is that our latent tendencies of survival were brought into the forefront. Suddenly we are like, will I survive this pandemic? Will my family survive? Will my company survive? Will my institution survive? We have been driven into that survival mode and everybody's got stressed. Everybody has got stressed. We have seen people close to us in our own families dying. We have seen suffering. No wonder we are stressed. And in that has happened the fear psychosis. So along with the pandemic we have the pandemic of fear psychosis. We are all fearful. Bhayam has come into our existence. That bhayam, fear, will worsen your immune function. Fear is a negative emotion. The negative emotion will automatically weaken your immune system, make you more susceptible to the same COVID-19. And this is why our culture, all the gods in our Indian culture, they have a mudra called Abaya Hasta. Abaya Mudra. This Abaya Mudra is saying, fear not, I am there with you. Don't worry, all will be well. That reassurance that the divine gives us. When we practice the Abaya Mudra in our yoga sadhana, we start to invoke within ourselves that feeling of fearlessness, abhayam. From bhayam to abhayam is how we move from illness to wellness. We have to overcome fear. Beautiful mantras are there in our culture. Mahamrityunjaya, Om Trayambakam Yajamahe. Beautiful mantras are there to enable us to overcome that survival instinct-driven fear, causing stress that is weakening our immune system. And suddenly we say, I will not be a victim of circumstances. I will be a master of my own destiny. Where we take responsibility. What is responsibility? The ability to respond. Responsibility is the ability to respond. Which part of us can respond? Prefrontal cortex, prefrontal cortex, prefrontal cortex. This back part cannot respond. It can only react. The brainstem can only react. It is only capable of reflexes. But the response comes from the prefrontal cortex. And this is the biggest contribution of yoga, is changing our perception of stress. Because as long as I consider something to be stressful, I will be bound by the stress response. I like to term it, Seema ma'am may or may not accept what I say. We call it stress response. I say there's no response, it's only a reaction. Because there's no choice in it. Once you feel stressed, the whole stress response comes in. Hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, they'll all kick in, whether you like it or not. But response means you make a choice. And the power of choice is the prefrontal cortex. This is where I can choose. There is a life-threatening situation. Am I going to get scared by it? Or am I going to do what I can do to manage the situation? In our medical education today, we are using in our healthcare systems a term called salitogenesis. Salitogenesis is the focus on health and wellness. The earlier paradigm was pathogenesis. We looked at pathology. What is causing the pathology? How to eradicate it? Pathogenesis. We now are moving to salitogenesis. Salutare means health in Latin. Salutare means health, wellness. And how do we move to this? By understanding that how I perceive stress will influence how I get stressed. So if I choose not to let it stress me, it cannot stress me. I have that choice. That power of choice is the power of being human. Everybody wants to be Spider-Man and Superman and Batman and have superpowers. You don't. You already have a superpower. The power of choice is the superpower of being human. I can choose how I want to respond to the challenge in life. I can choose my attitude. Viktor Frankl, the great psychoanalyst, he made a theory called logotherapy. And he made this beautiful statement. The last and final freedom we have as a human being is our choice. Our choice is our last and final freedom. How we choose to perceive what is happening in our life. If I understand my life is a challenge to make me a better me, well, I'm going to grow. It's like you go to the gym. You go to the gym and you lift all the weights so that you have a better body. Take on the mental challenges to become mentally fit. Take on emotional challenges to become emotionally fit. Take on spiritual challenges to become spiritually fit. We are trying to use the challenge as an opportunity for transformative growth. And this is why we always say, the challenge that comes to you is not a threat. It is an opportunity. COVID-19 is an opportunity for us to once again focus on wellness. Once again, focus on the importance of what we do as an individual. Because for too long, we are thinking, my health is the responsibility of Government of India. The Ministry of Health is responsible for my health. The doctors are responsible for my health. No, nobody is responsible for my health except me. I am responsible for my own health and I am responsible for my own happiness. My beloved father used to say, Swami Geetananda Giri, he used to say, if you want to be happy, do happy things. If you want to be healthy, do healthy things. But what do we want? We want to do unhappy things and be happy. We want to do unhealthy things and be healthy. And somebody should give us a miracle pill. Whether it be Ayush pill or modern medicine pill, give me a pill. I can do unhealthy things, eat all the junk and yet be healthy. I'm sorry. No miracle pill is there. The miracle is your power of choice. Eat healthy, be healthy. Think healthy, be healthy. Live healthy, be healthy. Have in our culture, we have the 5-pronged approach, lifestyle approach. Achar, Vichar, Ahar, Vihar, and Vyavahar. How do you eat? What type of Ahar do you take? Because your Ahar will determine whether you have illness or wellness. What type of Vichar do you have? What type of thinking patterns do you have? Healthy thinking, health will be there. Unhealthy thinking, disease will be there. Very simple. But no, I want to have negative thoughts and say, oh, I am no use. I am so bad, blah, 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 and I should be healthy. It's impossible. Think healthy, be healthy. Eat healthy, be healthy. Activities, your achar, vichar, ahar, vihar, all should be healthy. And don't forget the last most important one, vyavahar, relationship. Healthy relationships are most important. During COVID, we all know, put the mask, and now first thing now is vaccine. I got all my 3 doses of vaccine, okay? Now, the first thing is get your vaccine. But more important, even after vaccination, because of breakthrough infection, please remember, mask is important. Hand washing is important. And social distance. I don't know why they called it social distance. They should have just called it physical distancing. By calling it social distance, everybody thought, don't even look at anybody. So people are standing 20 meters apart. They don't want to look at each other because COVID will come. No. This is the time. Human being is a social animal. We need to interact more. You cannot interact in the physical space, but you can interact online. With my students all over the world, we have had more interactions in the past 2 years than ever before. We have been supporting each other through online meetings, online sessions, online classes. Whenever you have a chance, be ready to talk to others. Be ready to support others. This is the time. If you have a phone call at 2 a.m. in the morning from a friend, don't hang up on them because they may commit suicide. This is the time that people are at the bottom of depression. And we have to be there to say, I am there for you. Remember Abaya Mudra? I am there for you. All will be fine. As they say in 3 Idiots, all is well. Don't worry. be happy. But it doesn't mean you say, oh, COVID doesn't exist. COVID exists. It is a public health threat. But if we use our prefrontal cortex, if we are intelligent and use our intelligence, our buddhiman, remember buddhiman manushya? That is what we should be. If there is a crowd, stay away. If you have a thought that you have been contaminated, have a good wash. You know, these are the ideas we have to keep. So salutogenesis is what I wanted to share. Salutogenesis means you have a sense that I am in a state of coherence. This sense of coherence is the heart of salutogenesis. And it means you have a sense, my life is understandable. So the first point, my life is understandable. The second, my life is manageable. So first of all, I can understand my life. I can manage my life. And the third most important part, my life has purpose. My life is purposeful. We have to have that sense. We have to work towards that sense. That is what yoga is doing. Leave the fact whether it reduces your BP, reduces your blood sugar, all of that will happen. Those are the side benefits of yoga. Those are the health benefits of yoga are side benefits. The most important is it makes you feel at ease with yourself. You are comfortable in your skin. You are comfortable with whatever height you are, whatever weight you are, whatever plus or minuses you have. You are comfortable with yourself. You are in what we call sukhasthanam. A sense of sukham is there. So this is what we want to develop. And when we find that we feel my life is not understandable, how can we support the person to enhance the understanding of life? Then you move from illness to wellness. If they feel my life, I cannot manage my life, how can you empower them to make their life more manageable? So one, you have to reduce the challenge or you increase their ability. Very simple. Stress is an imbalance between challenge and ability. Same thing here. You feel you cannot manage your life. Either reduce the unmanageable concerns or enhance your capacity to manage it. Both are done by yoga because you reduce your need. If I reduce my need, automatically the balance will be there. But if my need is a greed, it's always going to be imbalanced. So we try to find ways through the yoga asana, the pranayama, the mudra, the bandha, to help the person understand the life, manage the life, and find purpose in your life. Every human being is born with a swadharma. That is what Lord Krishna tells us in the Bhagavad Gita. Each one has their own purpose for which you have been born. And no one's purpose is higher or lower than anybody else's. Find your purpose, live your purpose, and in that you fulfill yourself. This is the most important aspect, because if I don't find my purpose and fulfill it, I'm always going to feel my life has no purpose. My life is non-understandable and unmanageable. And then I go from coherence to incoherence. Coherence is wellness. Incoherence is disease, illness. Wellness, illness. Salutogenesis, pathogenesis. The same concept comes back. And we are constantly having an opportunity to make the choice. In this COVID times, soon, as everything opens up, we are going to have to take choices. Are we going to be there in person? Are we going to be there online? How many people are we going to meet? How are we going to interact? Are we going to make the same mistakes we made pre-COVID, or are we going to learn from our mistakes? Because we human beings are part of the ecology of the world. We are part of the whole environment. We are not the boss of the world. We are one component of the whole planet. When we take on an ecological attitude towards life, when we take on the responsibility, the jamindari, to be the best human beings we can be, I believe the human being version 2.022 or whatever we want to call it, this version of humanity should be a better humanity, one that can help each other, share together, face the challenge together, and overcome the challenges. And so that one day, honge kamyab ek din will become a reality in our life. I would like to thank you all for this golden opportunity to be with all of you and share some of my thoughts. and be here to listen to the other experts in this wonderful event. Wishing you all success for this event and all the events to come. Dhanyavadah.
बहुत धन्यवाद Yogacharya ji. I think you have said some wonderful things and I have been able to note 9 of them. And I think there will be more which I may have missed because my writing speed is not as good and we tend to do multitasking at times. But एक चीज जो आपने कही है इतनी महत्वपूर्ण है और इतनी लाइफ को और मन को छू जाने वाली है कि सब पे अमल करना बहुत जरूरी है। आपने जब कहा हेल्थ एंड हैप्पीनेस हमारा हक है लेकिन मोक्ष हमारा ध्येय है, दैट्स आवर ऑब्जेक्टिव, दैट्स आवर गोल। और इससे बड़ी बात मेरे ख्याल से कोई नहीं है जो हम लोग सब आके प्रॉबेबली भूल जाते हैं जब हम इधर जन्म लेते हैं, तो हम ये लोग भूल जाते हैं कि हम आए किस लिए थे यहाँ पे। वो आपने जो ध्येय हमें याद दिलाया वो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। और बाकी जो आपने कही कि योग इज माय डिवाइन मदर, बहुत दिल को छू जाने वाली। और आई से वी में जाना, इनफैक्ट इंसिडेंटली प्रीति जी ने प्रोग्राम का नाम ही आई से डब्ल्यू रखा है, इलनेस टू वेलनेस। तो वेलनेस के पहले 2 अक्षर वी बनाते हैं और इलनेस का पहला वर्ड आई है। सो ये मेरे को मालूम नहीं कोइंसिडेंटल है या इट वाज द डिवाइन power working towards it. Madam Preeti, you would like to say something?
Sir, actually, this was very thoughtful words we've tried to put it. Always we use it everywhere in the teamwork also, and that it has to be from I to we to get the success. And that is what we would like to have it, from illness to wellness. And that is the whole mantra of success, whether it is a team or whether it is our health. So that was a quite thoughtful words, and we tried to put it.